Every year, the world devours thousands of tons of Cheetos. And to satisfy that insatiable demand, an extruder machine churns out a ridiculous 250,000 Cheetos per hour. But have you ever wondered what's really inside these little orange bites? To find out, we sneaked into the Frito-Lay factory and uncovered the dark and crunchy secret behind one of the most addictive snacks on the planet. Cheetos were born in 1948 from the mind and maybe the stomach of Charles Doolin, founder of the Frito Company. During his experiments with corn and extrusion, he discovered that frying extruded cornmeal created an irresistibly crispy texture. And so, with a bit of ingenuity and a lot of oil, he created Cheetos. What he probably didn't realize at the time was that he was also inventing one of the biggest traps in the food industry, a snack designed to make sure you can't eat just one. Packed with salt, cheddar cheese, and flavor enhancers that belong in a chemistry lab, Cheetos are engineered to hijack your brain and hook you into an endless cycle of just one more. Today, Frito-Lay produces an absurd 4 million bags of Cheetos per day, or 18 tons per hour. That means over 1 billion bags are made each year. Now, pause for a second and imagine a mountain of Cheetos big enough to bury an entire stadium. But to fuel this orange beast, tons of corn are needed. The process starts with harvesting yellow corn, chosen for its high starch content, which is perfect for achieving that crispy and airy texture. This corn is harvested when its kernels are dry, with only about 15% moisture. Harvesters collect the kernels, separate them, and transport them to processing plants. And this is where the magic or the science of food addiction begins. Once inside the factory, the corn is milled into an ultra-fine flour, which is then sifted to remove any clumps. In Frito-Lay's massive Indiana plant, this golden powder is stored in 100-ton silos enough to produce 2.5 million bags of Cheetos. And here's a disturbing fact: when production is in full swing, 24 tons of corn flour are consumed per shift. That's the equivalent of 3 tanker trucks per day, filled with what is basically corn dust waiting to be turned into pure addiction. The transformation begins when the corn flour is mixed with water, forming a moist, firm dough. If the balance isn't perfect, the results would be disastrous: too much water, and the dough becomes sticky; too little, and it crumbles apart. But don't worry, there's no room for mistakes here. Once ready, this dough travels through a tube into the extruder, which is basically an industrial blender on steroids. Here, the corn is subjected to insane pressure and heat exceeding 180 degrees Celsius. In fact, the pressure is so intense that when the dough exits through the extruder's nozzle, it expands as if it just survived a mini-controlled nuclear explosion. This phenomenon, known as flash expansion, is what gives Cheetos their signature light and airy texture. But here's the weird part: at this stage, Cheetos are still not orange, they have no flavor, and honestly, they look like something you'd use to insulate your house. So when do they become the irresistible snack we all know? The answer: the fryer. Cheetos go through a hot oil bath at over 300 degrees Celsius for a few seconds, sealing their texture and giving them that golden color. But if you prefer something healthier with giant air quotes, there are also baked versions. Then comes the best part: the cheese bath. Every year, around 5,400 tons of cheddar cheese are used in this process. Yes, 5,400 tons. But don't think it's some kind of fancy, farm-fresh cheese. This cheddar is mixed with salt, oil, and a cocktail of secret spices and flavor enhancers that give Cheetos their unmistakable taste. The Cheetos enter a giant rotating drum where they get coated with this addictive powder. And do you know what else is in that powder? Food coloring. Because while cheddar cheese is yellow, Cheetos have that glowing radioactive orange hue. And here's a fun fact: that orange residue that sticks to your fingers, the one many people consider an essential part of the Cheetos experience, actually has a name. It's called Cheeto, and yes, some people love it so much that there are even products designed to let you lick it off without touching it. Because the world is full of surprises, once fully seasoned and cooled, Cheetos pass through high-tech sensors to ensure they meet size, color, and weight standards. Then, the bags are filled at a speed of 100 per minute and sealed airtight to lock in that irresistible freshness. And like gold bars, they're stacked in boxes and pallets, ready to be shipped to supermarkets worldwide. Now, if watching this has made you crave Cheetos, don't worry, it's normal. But the next time you find yourself mindlessly devouring an entire bag, just remember, it's not an accident, it's science. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like and share it with someone who's also addicted to Cheetos.